And we're live.
Cora getting us kicked off of YouTube. Oh boy.
She kind of repeated a phrase that I said. You'd think we live in Appalachia, wouldn't you? We actually got this just cleaned out. That one was all full of trash in there. Bunch of tires and all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Now this is gorgeous. Do you know what that is?
I can't tell. Looks like a tablet or a slate of some kind.
It is a slate of imported Italian marble.
Okay.
We used to get a lot of that. My grandfather used to work at the cemetery. And back then, the cemetery did their own headstones. So leftover tiles they could cut down and polish and bring home or whatever they wanted to do with them. You know, because it was already paid for.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're going for a ride here?
No, we're fine.
Let me see here.
Cat
There's 4 people watching.
Yep.
2 on
Good morning,
Rumble,
everybody.
2 on YouTube. So good morning. Welcome in, y'all. If you're new to us, let me explain how we do this. This is a discussion chat. You guys throw out topics, and we will discuss the topics to the best of our knowledge. If we don't have knowledge on the topic, we'll get knowledge on the topic. You know, we have lots of different internet lanes that we can go through for that. And hopefully we can entertain you along the way as well as educate you. That is our goal. Well, mainly our goal is to have fun and act like... my goal is to have fun and act like an idiot. I can't speak for the rest of it. There's a reason I'm called the Sasquatch. It's because I scare kitties like that away.
Good morning, Thomas.
Good morning, Mr. Thomas. How are you, sir? Two scoops of yummy kitty kibble for you guys. How do you like that?
I know they love it.
They will as soon as I get out of the way.
See,
there's
here
the
comes
black
the
one
crowd.
I can pet at will now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the black one I can pet at will, as long as the other one's not there. I'm not going to chase the other ones off just to do it. But over there, you'll see another one, black and white, or no, she's gray and white. In the branches there, right before
I see her.
There she comes. And then there's another one that's black and white on the just to the left of the tree.
I can just barely see it. Every time you move the camera, it loses connectivity.
Focus.
Yeah.
Connectivity.
It just goes. Yeah, it just gets all like it goes from decent to like 72p.
Oh. Well, here I say it like that. Then how's that?
Yep.
Now the second black cat showed up. So, I ended up doing something last night that I absolutely hated doing. I should save that. I should save that for a little bit. God, I need a drink.
I need a drink.
Let's just say I need to go hunt down an animal and probably report it to the Wildlife Commission, have them come pick it up and take it in and get it tested. Yeah. First part's finding it though, because you took off like a bat out of hell. Alright, now we're gonna make some coffee. Coffee.
Indeed.
So Cal, you pick the first topic of the day. What are we talking about?
Okay, you guys went on a rip about what's been happening in North Carolina yesterday. I didn't get to join in on that really because I would have loved to, but you were having problems with Rumble, and YouTube's little join me thingy only works on mobile devices, and I'm not on a mobile device. So we've probably already gone over this territory, but I'm going to just give it a brief recap while Chris shoves us into his beard for safekeeping. There was a report that a helicopter that was being run by Elon Musk was waved off of its own helicopter pad by a police officer. And as soon as that happened, Elon tried to get a hold of Mr. Pete Buttigieg and contacted him on Twitter, and he was talking to him. And Pete was like, "Oh, well, if this sounds like it's happening, call me." And Elon called his bluff. He's like, "Okay, what's the number?" He didn't give him the phone number. He's like, "I'm still waiting." And apparently Pete never got back to him. Well, of course, because Elon called his bluff. Pete was probably expecting Musk to say something along the lines of, "Oh, no, I'm sure we can figure it out," or, whatever, just back down. But no, he didn't, because Elon Musk has become severely red-pilled over the last few years. He has become very much one of us, just seeing the shit that's happening here. And he's like, "You know what? No, I don't like this. I've decided I really don't like this. So I'm going to stand up and do something about it." Dolly Parton yesterday also said that she's going to donate $1 million out of her own personal fund. And Dollyville, whatever.
Dollywood.
Yeah, Dollywood. Her company is also going to donate $1 million. So, and also, interestingly enough, the State Department came out and said that they're going to be giving $157 million to Lebanon to help them recover from the attacks by Israel.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah, where they've given
$750 for our own fucking people, but we're going to send millions of dollars over to fucking. These motherfuckers need to be tarred and feathered.
Yeah, there
I can't
was.
Say what I really want to do.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, we all kind of are thinking that at this point, especially the folks up in Appalachia. There's already been a lot of reports of FEMA stealing supplies and money and chasing off faith-based organizations, telling them to, go away. Whereas the North Carolina, at least one division of the North Carolina State, one section of it, whatever you want to call it, of the North Carolina State Police has said they're not going to permit this to happen anymore. And there was also a rumor going around that some North Carolina sheriffs were going to start arresting anybody from FEMA that interfered with rescue operations. So, and, I already expect that, well, revenuers back in the day were not exactly welcome up in those mountains either, and a lot of them didn't make it off those mountains. I'm sure that when this is all said and done, there's going to be at least a few FEMA employees who mysteriously went missing up in the woods and were never seen again. If we hear reports about that, I'm just going to shrug and, just close my eyes, shrug my shoulders, be like, "Oh, well, FA-FO. They have commenced the FA portion of things, and now they are FOing. Also, a local FEMA director was shooting his mouth off about, not giving help to the various people up there, and a crowd descended upon him and apparently beat him within an inch of his life. He had to be taken to a hospital for that. That happened about 20 minutes south of Asheville, so I don't know exactly where that's going to be. And there's a few towns, or used to be towns down there, that it could have happened at. But again, we're not getting, with the lack of internet service, we're not getting a ton of live video. Mr. Buttigieg has also tried to lock down the airspace and has been trying to prevent people from flying drones and flying independent helicopters up there to deliver relief supplies and rescue people. Just these are things that have been documented already. We already know that Elon Musk is sending as many Starlink kits out there as he can get his hands on for free, and he's letting people use Starlink for free for as long as the emergency lasts. Considering he's also doing that for Brazil, I mean, Elon Musk is one of us at this point. I mean, you may have had doubts about the guy before, but he's literally pissing away money to help at this point. And his return on investment, considering where he's doing it, is not going to be that high. Even if he manages to get, saturate the whole state with Starlink and start to provide discounted or cheaper Starlink kits to the individual people down there, it's going to be a long time before all this expenditure of money is going to come back to him. So he's not worried about money at this point. Even Trump said, when somebody asked him, aren't you afraid of losing voters up there? He's like, I don't care about voters. These are people's lives that are at stake. That's the only thing I'm worried about. And
that's how it should be.
Yeah, and cackles. Somebody pointed out that the belt that she was wearing with her little crisis jacket at that news conference in front of that destroyed house or whatever cost $770 retail. So it actually costs more than the relief money that she was offering to at least some people, which, by the way, FEMA has said that the poor and suffering undocumented migrants will be receiving full aid and benefits from FEMA if they so request it. Whereas there are a lot of people up there living up there who are being denied all their funds. Yeah. There is just so much crap going on up there. And the reason that they're doing this, the entire reason that they're doing this, is they are actively attempting to suppress voters because the election is coming up in less than a month.
Well,
they are
I think it's twofold.
Well,
I think it's a twofold problem. The voter part is probably part of it.
Yeah,
but I think the bigger part is the land grab.
Actually, the land grab is secondary at this point. They need Trump to lose North Carolina. If you look at the current voting map, the way things are, Trump is up by potentially 287 electoral votes. They need to make sure that he loses North Carolina. That puts him in a very precarious position, electoral vote-wise. So, that's the big thing. I don't think this is
the way to make them lose North Carolina, because I don't think other North Carolinians seeing their brethren being treated like this and that they're not going to get shit. I don't think that's going to help their campaign. Now we're sending fucking millions to Lebanon. Mm-hmm. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, what they're trying to do is basically kneecap all of those counties out there. If they can keep this going as long as possible, they can just say, oh, yeah, well, all those counties out there, well, we can't count them for this election. So it's going to invalidate the votes for roughly 1/3 of the territory of the state, leaving mostly blue cities left to cast votes for North Carolina. That's what they're aiming for. Hell, I saw a video, I think it was from Black Conservative Perspective a couple of days ago, about somebody who was a diehard Kamala Harris supporter. And I mean, you could hear it as soon as he opened his mouth, and you realized he was the way he was crying and how he was crying and what he was saying. He was a dedicated Harris voter, and he's like, Harris, what are you doing? Where are you? Where are you? You're supposed to be my hero. And he's going to vote for her again. And there was already someone saying something along the lines of, they'll make sure that all the blue voters in Asheville will get out and get their votes counted, but they're going to try and screw over all of the counties in the western 1/3 of the state as much as they possibly can. The overall goal is to simply deny them the ability to vote. That way, they can just fake up numbers for the rest of the state, saying, "Oh yeah, well, the blue areas did manage to vote, but we won't call them blue areas. We'll say it was free and fair for most of the state. Unfortunately, we had to get provisional ballots for the rest of the state, and it will take some time to process. But there's no way that all those counties up there could possibly cancel out the votes of all the deep blue cities in North Carolina. That's what they're doing. They're going to basically try and rip the rug out from underneath North Carolina and use this as a justification to cheat. And then they will ramp up their cheating machine in the big cities. That's why Kamala doesn't care. There's only two reasons she wouldn't give a shit about what's going on, especially in North Carolina, is number one, she's already lost the state and she doesn't give a shit anymore because she doesn't think she has a chance of winning it. Or number two, she already has the cheat locked in and this is just their method, their excuse. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that she's getting, just tiny ass crowds. Nobody likes her. She's terrible to her staff. They have the highest turnover rate of any vice presidential staff in recent history. This woman is toxic. She's evil. She is disgusting. And she had to go and find herself a vice president that was dumber than her. This is everybody saying that Biden was Obama's third term. Well, this is going to be Obama's fourth if Harris gets in. But as I was saying, if they can steal North Carolina from Trump, they will be in a better position if all they really need to do is steal one more halfway decent sized state from him, and that's it. They will have prevented him from getting the 270 votes necessary to win. And there may be a lot of general discontent about what's happening, and it may translate into quite a few votes. But if that general discontent is spread out far enough and wide enough, they can just suppress that with more fake votes. It's not that hard. I mean, they managed to pull it off once already in at least, we already know that there was a lot of cheating going on in Michigan. The Michigan Secretary of State actually made it a crime to question election integrity. You no longer can call for, an investigation into any of those things without breaking the law. So, Michigan, one way or another, you literally have to break the law in Michigan now to question whether or not the votes are being counted accurately. And if they're not, well, too bad, so sad. You either break, and then the Mesa County recorder, I forget her name now, but she was just sentenced to a 9-year prison sentence for preserving the records. Tina Peters, thank you. She was just sentenced to a 9-year prison sentence for preserving the records from the last election, which is her legal. Basically, that's her job. She was put in prison for almost a decade for her job, which is absolutely disgusting. Obviously, there needs to be an appeal. Somebody needs to get this woman a better lawyer and a non-corrupt judge, and a jury that is actually made up of her peers and not a bunch of commies.
There's a problem. It was in Colorado. That says it all.
Well, yeah, that's why I said what I said. A non-corrupt judge and a jury of her actual peers.
Unfortunately, I can't. I'm fighting with my internet.
I see that. Well, don't worry. I got your back. But yeah, no. Jamie's here? Hello, Jamie.
Thomas said good morning to Jamie, so I'm guessing he saw her somewhere.
She's haunting us.
She's here. She posted the show on Discord for us.
Hi, Jamie. Hope you're doing better.
I need to make us a cup of this.
You always seem to fight with your internet in that little room or whatever that you're in.
Today's the first day I've actually had problems with it, and I wonder if it isn't because of the fog. Excuse me, sir. Nope. You are not banning people. especially me.
Is your cat trying to play with your phone?
Play with the hell we was dancing on it.
Yeah.
But come on, guys. Oh shit, the coffee pot's on. There's no water in the coffee pot.
Oops. I've done that before.
Well, I forgot that I had it set up for the morning show yesterday. So when I plugged everything in, oops, I just elbowed poor Fluffy right in the eye. It would just come on and cook. So I didn't have to worry about it. Well, I forgot to turn it off yesterday. I just unplugged it.
Oops.
Woo! It's like having a choo-choo train in here.
Like a mother duck. Mind you, I can't see you, so I'm just going by what you're saying. You're frozen.
Let it go, let it go. Oh, no, wait, you meant my video. Sorry.
Yeah. Man, it is just giving him problems today.
Now you can't hear me?
Oh, I can hear you just fine. Hearing you isn't a problem. Seeing you is.
Most people would consider that a good day.
I don't know. They just don't appreciate the beard. It is a force of nature.
No, they just don't appreciate the ugly behind the beard. So they should appreciate the beard. It hides the ugly.
Thomas is right. Brick walls will impede signals. So the fewer brick walls you're behind, the better.
Yeah.
Especially if there's metal involved.
No metal. The only metal's in the windows, and that's not.
That's that.
I'm moving my repeater to the end of my house. And
Range will do it too.
Signal. I have perfect signal. That's the problem. It's showing I have great signal. Signal.
There you go.
No, I'm still frozen.
Well, you weren't there for a minute.
Let me go out and come back in again. I'll be right back, everybody.
Back and forth, back and forth. But yeah, there's been a lot of people who are coming forward now and blowing the whistle on all this stuff. Brianna Morello made a post on X the other day. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, where she went in and actually demonstrated how FEMA has been giving away its money. And she said in her tweet, I'm actually going to show my source. And her source ended up being FEMA's own website. It's just like, you know what? There's the receipts right there. Mind you, she got a lot of people's attention just because of, well, if you look at her, there are a lot of people who are going to have their attention turned to her.
Are you saying she's good looking?
She has great assets. That's the first thing that's going to draw a lot of men in, is they're going to look right at her, but their eyes are not going to be at eye level.
Tell your boobs to stop looking at my eyes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to denigrate the lady because she's doing good work, but she knows how to get people's attention. And you know what?
More power to her.
Exactly. I mean, you know what? When it comes down to getting the message out to people who are not convinced, people who can be brought back from the brainwashing, whatever tactic you can use that's legal, I say use it. Everything at your disposal, because our enemies will just flagrantly violate the law. They don't care, because in a lot of places they are the law. So, if they break the law to get their point across, to do their thing and implement their message or whatever it is, they'll do it. They'll do it. So we have to play by a different set of rules. We have to use a completely different rule book in a lot of ways. I mean, we can still take a lot of their rules for radicals and turn it against them, but we can only go so far. We can't bring out another Summer of Love, but with us doing it, without government
Why
or
not?
somebody. I mean, we could. The only problem is
We
that
just wouldn't get
unlike what
treated the
happened
same
during
as
the
them.
summer, yeah, we wouldn't. We wouldn't. We would. It'd be like being
I'll be right
Irish in
back.
the 1880s again. Go ahead. It'd be like being Irish in the 1880s again. They'll crack our heads and stuff us in paddy wagons. If we're lucky. If we're lucky. If we're not, they'll just completely shoot us down. It'd be like the opening scene from Running Man, which, by the way, was a horrible adaptation for the book. I read the book and I watched the film. While I enjoyed the film more, the book really, really gets into how hopelessness, almost like a horror movie, that whole scenario is. But the beginning of the film shows Arnie, the main character, being forced to take action and unalive a bunch of people who are there for a food riot. They just want food. And he's falsely convicted because they alter the video evidence. A lot of that shit kind of holds true today. Even the ending of the movie, where Richard Dawson makes his little speech about how television is eternal, even that kind of holds true today. I mean, yeah, the action is kind of hokey. It's a little off. And it really doesn't follow the plot of the book at all. I mean, it follows the general concept, but that's it. There are a lot of messages in that film that surprisingly ring true today. And another good movie that stood the test of time when it comes to its general message is Tomorrow Never Dies. And if those of you who haven't seen it, you have a media mogul, literally one of the richest media guys around, about to launch new ventures, new television, news, stuff like that. But in reality, he's collecting blackmail on politicians. He's, forcing them to bend to his will. And his entire goal in the movie is to start a shooting war between China and the United Kingdom, which would most likely result in World War III. Mind you, the movie takes place in 1997, so China would lose very badly, actually, because they just didn't have the assets they do today. Do a strategic evaluation of China another time. But point is that he had the media manipulation powers to do it. He had the ability to alter people's perception of the facts, and he was using that throughout the film to try and push this message that China wants war, and the UK is just trying to defend itself. And he even had a perfect scenario set up at the end, typical supervillain fashion. He was going to go in with a stealth boat, which was based on the experimental Sea Shadow seacraft. And he was going to fire missiles at both fleets at the same time and make it look like just everybody started shooting. And, he's just going to slime his way out of there and just provide live footage of the opening battle just to start shit and earn him millions and millions of dollars. But the general message that somebody with that level of power can alter the perception of the people who read his news or her news or their news or whatever, that message still holds true today. I mean, even some of the technology you see there isn't that out of fashion. So if you watch the film and look at what Carver is doing, you realize that the same sort of thing is happening today. But it's not just one news outlet, it's all of them. There really is mainstream media out there telling the full truth. It's been did a lot the last several decades. Anytime they can force out somebody who has actual morals and would say, no, we don't need to be putting this kind of event to things. We need to just report the news as we see it. They will. and then they'll put in somebody who will basically turn the news event into an editorial for whatever cause they've decided they want to push, or they've been bribed to push by various special interest groups. So the overall message from Tomorrow Never Dies, it's very much there. The villains live among us, and they have been doing so for some time. So when it comes to what we can do, those of us that want to report the truth and let people decide for themselves what they want their future to be, the real truth, the full truth, and nothing but the truth, we are constantly blockaded from doing so by, well, look at where we are. Look at where we are. We've got 5 viewers on YouTube. You guys on YouTube, you guys are real troopers. Thank you very much for being on that platform. We know what that platform is like. We know what they like to do. We know how we have to watch our words because we can't speak the full truth the way we want to. We also can't give our opinion the way we want to because they will censor us. Rumble is better, at not being as censorious, but literally everywhere you go, you have to watch what you say. It's not quite as bad as communist China yet, but it's getting there. And we're entering a mixture of Brave New World and 1984, where the internet is constantly scrubbed of information because search engines are basically being, a lot of search engines are being run by AI. And Thomas is right. Watch The Man That Never Was. Shows how we can be misled. Had to study the movie in a class. I haven't seen that one, but yeah, that sounds like everybody should give a watch to, or at least read the synopsis of. But yeah, there's information out there. It's constantly they're doing the best to memory hole it. To just throw it into a black hole and make it go away. Like today, I was looking for an artist, a specific artist, who sang a song more than 30 years ago. And if this was the pre-internet, the walled internet days, when the Google search engine was actually worth something, and could actually find this stuff, I probably would have been able to find everything I was looking for. I was looking for the lyrics to a song. This is a very old song. It had a very limited release in Japan. But, guaranteed I would have found, some Japanese website somewhere that had this information, but I couldn't because Google just was not returning search results. Now, that's just for one artist who wasn't even controversial. She was just not very well known. And now there have been multiple instances over the last several months of people wanting to look for something about an event or something or else, and they go to Google and look for it, and the very first results they get is about the Harris campaign or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Active suppression of information is just as bad as outright propaganda.
It's all an election interference.
Oh yeah, it's all election interference, but it's more than just election interference, and it's an attempt to alter the culture. I mean, 40 years ago, let's go back to say 1980, just to give it a year. Go back to 1980. Go up to the average Joe on the street, just average person. Ask them if you think that it would be a good idea to have drag queen story hours in children's book places, libraries, children's bookstores, things like that. Ask them if they think it would be a good idea to have a bunch of drag queens.
They'd laugh you off the street.
Exactly. They would find it. They would think it was absolutely ridiculous. Go back to 1990. Ask the same question. You probably get mostly the same response. Probably get maybe one or two to be like, well, maybe if they behave themselves, maybe it wouldn't be such a bad thing. Provide an alternative perspective. Go back to 2000. Probably still get a lot of people that would say that might not be the best idea. Now you go do that today, unless you are in a deeply conservative area, or you get somebody who is very willing to speak without the camera being on, so they can't be tracked and have themselves doxxed. You're probably going to hear a lot of people say, well, it's a private business. They can do what they want. If they want to have drag queens on there, well, I might object to it, but, just go ahead and let them do it.
Nope.
Now, I'm not picking on that particular thing because I disagree with it or whatever. In fact, why don't they go into nursing homes and stuff and read to old people?
That'd be better.
Or
Do some shows for the old people.
Yeah. Hell, a lot of those old people think men dressed up in drag would be the funniest shit in the world. They might actually appreciate it. Because back in their day, that shit was done with class. So you get some of them, and I've seen some that do some outrageous costumes. For whatever else you want to say about them, you have to compliment some of their costumes. They are just amazingly outlandish and just strutting peacock stuff.
Mummer stuff.
Yeah. Bring them into an old folks home. The old folks would absolutely just get a kick out of that. They might even make friends. You never know. So, but the thing is that our perception of whether that would be a good or a bad idea has changed radically just in the last 24 years. Now, people who are on that side of the argument are going to say, well, that's because we've taught people or we've awakened people into accepting that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, there's a reason you were able to do that. There's a reason you were able to do that. You altered people's perspective.
The same way that China was able to do their communistic color revolution because they brainwashed the kids of the next generation. They hate their parents.
Yep.
They turn their parents in as anti-communist.
Yep. That's largely what happened, and Thomas is right on target. He said just about the same thing.
North Korea was different, though. North Korea, those people were promised things, and then so they gave up their rights to land property and all that.
Yeah.
Because they were promised that their kids would be able to go to better schools, and they would be able to get land to farm on, so they would be able to sustain themselves. And we've seen that none of that shit happened, did it?
Not really.
No, Mom was freaking out last night. Good morning, Dave. How you doing, buddy?
Uh-oh, it's Dave.
Dave's happy we're back on YouTube, and we're happy that Dave's back with us. We miss Dave.
Yes, we like Dave. Dave is fun. Dave is awesome. I remember I used to speak to him a lot on The Place That Shall Not Be Named. I always thought he was a pretty cool dude.
Why are you being a dick and trying to keep me from my coffee grounds? I'll smack the shit out of you.
Do not get between the man and his coffee. Do not get between the man and his coffee.
The grinder, it was stuck. The coffee was sticking to the side, so I just smack it around a little bit. Show it who's boss,
I see. I only buy pre-ground coffee. I mean, I could grind it myself, but it's a matter of convenience. It's a matter of convenience. And I only drink.
Thomas says Russia said it will take America out without a shot fired by educating our youth. Been happening for years. Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely has.
That one defector from the KGB back in the 80s even went into detail about all that stuff.
Yep.
The video interview of him can be found in quite a few places. But he was very detailed about how everything was going and what they were doing. And it's true in a lot of ways. And the unification of all the boards of education into the Department of Education just made that easier. Because now you've got national standards for this, that, and the next thing. A
Oh,
national election.
I have a story that you're gonna love,
Oh, do tell.
and it's
Do tell.
and it's out of your favorite city.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The entire school board resigning in protest of Brandon Johnson. Did you see that?
Yep.
What are
You
your
gotta love
thoughts on that?
it. You know what? It's about time. It really is. Mind you, and I will also somewhat dox myself. I don't care. A couple of years ago, my old high school got a tampon dispenser in the boys' washroom. I know what campus it was on. I know exactly where it happened. And you know what they did? My lovely alma mater decided to rip that thing off the wall and throw it in the toilet.
Good.
Yep. Now,
Sad
if
when
you
the
go
kids have
looking,
more sense than
I
than you.
was never prouder to be a graduate of that high school than that day. Now, mind you, I don't mind saying this because, I don't care if the current school administration is so far to the left that they walk in every day wearing full hippie outfits. We had our high school graduated David Hasselhoff. Oh, now it'll be really easy to find me. Our high school graduated David Hasselhoff. Okay, I'm a political agitator at this point. I fully take on that title with pride and gusto. But we had David Hasselhoff also graduate from our high school. So you know what? I think it kind of evens out.
So, since you brought up the celebrity thing,
Hi, Jamie.
Go
ahead.
I watched a really cool video last night. Good morning, Jamie. That I shared on Discord in the inspiration area. Talking about celebrities who have come to Christ in the last couple of years.
It's been
And
quite
the
a
list
few.
is actually rather extensive.
Mm-hmm.
And shocking for some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Mr. Whiskers. Kat Von D, tattooist extraordinaire and supposed white supremacist, has been baptized into the church and has changed her ways. Matthew McConaughey has said that he now is a religious person. Alice Cooper, the guy from Korn, I can never remember his name. Sorry, guy.
I know who you're talking about.
Let me think here. The biggest change that I saw in any of those people, though, honestly, was Shia LaBeouf. I had completely wrote him off. I mean, he just went completely nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden I see this interview pop up talking about the changes that he's made in his life, and I'm like, do I really want to watch this? I said, this guy really pisses me off. And I was called to watch it. So when you're called to watch something, you do it. And so I watched it. And to see the change, it was a complete 180 of him. He was being humble. He was talking about how his life and experiences had jaded him and made him think that there was nothing good because he was listening to the people around him in Hollywood and all the leftists. And he was doing a part as a priest. So he went and actually lived with monks to learn about the culture. And while he was there, he the transformation happened. It was a really
As
good
my
thing
old
to see. And go ahead.
as my old pastor used to say, Pastor Wendell Hope, um, as he used to say, if you sit with the enemy, you become like the enemy, and the enemy is all you hear and all you think. When you sit with Christ, Christians, so sit with Christ and people who believe in Christ, who listen to Christ, that will be all you hear, and it will become what you believe. Now,
But
because of his specific brand of Christianity, he didn't name, Satan, the devil, Lucifer, whatever. He always referred to him as the enemy. But
yeah,
honestly, I think that is an excellent label, because the enemy isn't just the supernatural enemy that we all think of when we think of bad things. It's also those who have had their hearts turned to evil, and all the different facets of evil, not just the ones that are directly covered by the Bible, but the other evils, the little minor evils, the ones that make them say, screw those people in flyover country, we don't care about them. Out, down to the outright, eating of the flesh and the drinking of the blood and all the other vicious rumors that have been flying around for so many years. The enemy. And the enemy isn't just people, it's what they believe. If you can get somebody like Shia LaBeouf, who was just completely off the freaking rails, to turn around and say, I have seen the light, there's hope for just about everybody. Now, the Bible says that everybody is reachable. We all have a chance, and so on and so forth. Far be it for me to disagree with Scripture, just a person. But I have seen people who are so into it that literally Christ himself could descend from heaven and say, my son or my daughter, you are not following the good path. And they would just brush them off. And never again would they even think of it. These are people who truly are so far gone, so committed to the life of sin, so committed to the evil that is in their hearts, that they cannot wrap their minds around any form of salvation. For some of them, it's because they don't believe they deserve it. They are miserable and they want to make everybody else miserable, so they will do miserable things. And then there are some who just frolic and revel in that sin so much that they cannot ever bring themselves to do positive things. They enjoy and get pleasure out of making others suffer. Some of them will never change because their brains are just too broken for it to happen. We can pray for their souls, but we got to realize that as earthly beings, there are just some walls we cannot scale when it comes to people's hearts. So let's go for the ones that we can. Let's turn them away from evil.
Miracles happen.
Oh, yeah. Miracles happen all the time. I'm just saying, as individual humans, no matter what faith you have, specific or non-specific, do what you can to change the minds of others towards acts of good.
Well, like the Bible says, Jesus says, you are fishers of men. Meaning we are supposed to go out and we are supposed to bring people into our flock and teach them.
Yep. Mind you, where I live, I don't have a problem with that. I'm pretty sure that virtually 100% of this county has some form of faith or another, like probably 99% Christian of some stripe. I know there's Native Americans in here, and they probably also have, they keep their own beliefs. Not denigrating them, not saying anything. But if some miracle happened and I decided to move to New York City, which, if it wasn't such a shithole and I could actually carry a gun, I might, just for the experience of living in such an urbane neighborhood. Grew up in Chicago. There's that lure. And you go to a place like that, you're going to encounter a lot of people that don't really have faith. That would be That would be what you call a pre-stocked pond of fish, in a sense.
Yeah.
And in that case, I would do what I did when I was in California. And in California, I did have a couple of successes, talking to people about this. What I did in California, and what I would most likely do in any other place where, I'm outnumbered, or at a significant disadvantage or whatever, is conduct myself in a very positive and forthright and honest manner. Try to be the best Christian that I can be.
Mm-hmm.
I won't go shoving the faith down people's throats, but I will make myself available. And if they ever ask, how do you stay so positive? Why are you such a good person? All those kinds of questions. My brother, it is because I've accepted the light of Jesus into my heart. Now, Jesus may not be the answer for you, or this specific brand of Jesus may not be the answer for you. But that's the fun part. If you want to be a good person, well, this is what I believe. This is how I believe it. This is what led me to this point in my life. This is what led me to this point in my faith. Here's some things from the Bible that I can point you to. Now, you've got a number of options, sir, or ma'am, or whatever. You can go and be Catholic. They have a pretty strict way of doing things. You can be Lutheran. You can be non-denominational. You can be Presbyterian. You can be Episcopalian. They all have their different ways of worship. But here is the general message. Here is why I chose this as my faith. This is why I am a good person, not because I fear, being cast down into hell, but because the general message of my faith is we must all be good to each other. We must, give charity to each other when people are in need. If you have, give. Why? Because building friendships and building relationships with people is a truly positive aspect in your life. It is what you need to do for others, to serve others, to help others, to lift others up, and be a positive influence in everyone's lives. Not just the people immediately around you. Not just preaching to the faithful in your own church, but going out, doing things and saying, no, I am not here because I fear hell. I am here because out of the goodness of my heart, I believe that I should help you in whatever way I can. If that means leading you to Christ, take your hand, take you to my church. We go, we sit down, you sit through a sermon. That's one way. If it just means giving you the shirt off my back because you have no clothes for whatever reason, do that too. Because that is what I truly believe that I must do. Again, not because I fear hell, but because I believe positivity, what I am doing.
Well, because you were taught that by the Master Jesus. He's the one that taught us to do charity, and I look at these mega churches and I'm disgusted by them, honestly.
Yeah.
What are they
what
doing
was it?
for the community?
Yeah, Joel Osteen got a lot of flack after that one hurricane in the South a few years ago for basically not doing shit and withholding contributions that had been given with the promise that they would be distributed to victims of the hurricane. Of course, he managed to duck a lot of that shit and just, scurry away. But yeah, I don't put a lot of faith into mega churches. Some of them are just outright corrupt. Others, well, they can put on one hell of a flashy show. Creflo Dollar. Oh boy, I got to see.
When I was unable to work and I needed some assistance, we needed just a couple bucks for gas to go back and forth to appointments.
Yeah.
Before I won my disability case. And so we would call the local churches and see what they would offer, if they would be able to help or not. And I'm not proud of that fact. I hate asking for help. It's one of my pet peeves. But you have to swallow your pride and do what you have to do.
Yeah.
So most churches were okay with giving a $10, $20 gas card to the local gas station or something. And One time I'm like, well, let's try a different church because, these churches are probably getting tired of us calling them.
Yeah.
And we called the local mega church around here. I'm not going to call them out by name, but you can look on a map and you'll see where they are. They're not far from me. And the first question the guy asked me was, "Do you attend our church?" I said, "No, I don't." He said, "Well, then we can't help you. We only help people who attend our church." And my jaw hit the floor. What? That's not how this works. You're supposed to help your community. I vowed I would never do anything with them again.
Oh. I explained a few sessions ago. It's part of the reason why I ended up moving away from being Catholic. It's because the one Catholic church that I could find in my area when I was in California were only doing services in Spanish, and they didn't want white people in there. Even the priest told me that.
No gringos. Yep.
Yeah.
How about F
So,
you? This is a house of God. It's not your house.
Yeah, well. You're going to get good and bad people in everything that you do. Every experience in life is going to have good and bad people. The important thing is to be a good person yourself.
Yep.
We're still alive. We still draw breath. There is something that we can do out there for someone. And that's what we should focus on. That's part of the reason why you started the Bridging Pathways in the first place, isn't it? Find ways to help people.
That's what our main goal is. Yeah.
That's exactly what I want to get into helping too. And as I've said to everybody else, once I get my life sorted out, and once I get moved, and once I get a schedule set up, and I know what I'm doing and when I'm doing it, and what my free time and availability is, I intend on going full throat into this myself. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do to help people. And, I'm going to be moving to West Virginia. There's a lot of desperately poor people in that state.
I know quite a few of them.
If there's any way that I can help them, lift them up, help assist them with the things that are going on in their lives, I want to do it. I've always felt this great desire, this great feeling that I want to lift up others around me. And there's a few people that find that a bit strange because I'm not out for Cal. Well, helping you helps me. If I lift you up, it's like what I say when knowledge is power, but that's why we should share that power with everybody. Then we can all be powerful. Be powerful together.
Yeah. Well, and here's, just to throw this out there, we also want to change the culture of nonprofits. Because nonprofits have become big business. It's not about helping people anymore. It's about making money. It's about getting bonuses for the fucking CEO who makes over $1 million a year. Which is absolutely fucking ridiculous.
They've become money laundering operations. They really have.
We've vowed that all of our people will be volunteers. None of us get paid. So, yeah, that's just one of the big things that that's how I feel. I just don't want, I want money to get to the people that fucking need it, not into the pockets of a CEO or a board. So we have a really good board though. We do. Cora doesn't want us talking about this too much over here, so I gotta be careful.
I get it. Basically, you have already got yourself a structure filled with good people with good intentions and good hearts.
Yes. And good balance of people who come up with really crazy ideas and people who keep us grounded because we come up with some really crazy ideas.
Well, hey, sometimes the crazy ideas are the ones that we need to put forward. I mean, Christianity itself is a crazy idea. Now look at it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, they listen, but it's more of a in time. Just give it time. Be patient. You know.
Oh yeah. Good things take
we
time.
have a long ways to grow to be able to, literally monetarily help people. Right now, it's just setting people up with food banks, churches, local resources in their area is what we're trying to do at this point.
Oh yeah. If I get up around Morgantown like what's up?
Speaking of Aunt Cora.
Oh, hi, Cora. Good morning. Can I have some bacon, please?
Hold on, I gotta send her an invite.
Uh,
I know she's got something to say to me. I might not want to hear what she has to say to me, but I know she has something to say to me.
Yeah, come on, Cora. Cook us some bacon and impress us with your worldly knowledge and experience.
I know I'm not the easiest person to work with. I don't lie to people and say I am. I'm honest. I haven't got the bacon yet. Well, daggum it. I haven't gotten bacon yet either. I haven't even got my coffee. I ended up with a lap full of cats.
There's Cora.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Morning.
Go ahead.
Good morning. Good morning.
Let him hear it.
You woke up alive today. Good
Hey,
morning.
Jamie. Yeah, I did.
It's a great morning when you wake up.
Oh, I was outside getting my 15 minutes of morning sun.
Or before it hides behind the trees.
Didn't
what?
realize. Go ahead.
I
No,
said
what'd you
before
say?
it hides behind the trees.
Yep, exactly.
Oh. I don't know how long you've been here, but I went off on a bit of a rant at the beginning of this about what's been happening in the Carolinas.
I heard. I've been listening while I was in the shower.
I could say.
I knew she would say. I knew she would have something to say about when I said about my crazy ideas.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
Jamie. Morning, Jamie. Morning, Thomas.
Crazy
Morning,
ideas.
Dave.
Crazy ideas. Do tell us about crazy ideas, Cora.
Oh, hell. That's a job in itself with Chris.
Give it to us. Come on.
Yeah, he knows I have to slap him down every now and then, keep him grounded, because he just, some of the shit he comes up with, it's like, no. Slow down, back up, patience. And he has none. He's learning.
Well, it's like I tell her all the time. Sometimes I'm not actually trying to implement the idea yet, but I have to get it out so somebody else hears it.
Yeah, I have that problem too. I have that problem a lot. That's one of the reasons why I wish Mrs. Cal was still here. She was my ground.
Morning, Fred.
Uh-oh. There's a Fred.
Morning, Fred. I don't see chat. I didn't bring the laptop in yet.
Okie dokie. I don't think I sent Fred. Did I send him an invite today?
I don't know. Did you?
No, send it again just in case. I don't know.
Yeah, get him in here.
Oh yeah, he has it. So if he wants to join, he can. If not, that's okay too.
Well, yeah. We're all volunteers here. We're all volunteering our opinion.
Well, we will do good things. That's just
Oh,
a given.
yes.
So,
Oh,
you enjoying your home time, Fred? I think he's
is
heading
he
home
finally
now.
resting at home?
I think he
I think
just got there last night, this morning,
Yeah,
early.
I believe so. Are we doing dishes?
Well, I didn't clean my iron skillet from last night, so I need to get it going. Because I was lazy. I mowed the grass yesterday. I did some work outside. I did laundry. I made bread. So I was like too lazy. Oh, I got to take this in the hospital, and this is an update. I'll be back.
Okie dokie. So, yeah. Like I said, a lot of times the ideas that I come up with, I know we can't implement them right now, but later down the road, when we're more established and we're taking some money in, and
Buying surplus C-130s.
yeah. But no, we're going to be focusing on Americans, veterans primarily, then older people who need help, and then from there we'll probably work with like single mothers who need help and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Babysitting services these days, you have any idea how expensive they are? The government has put in a lot of regulations, and some of it varies from state to state, but there's also a lot on the national level, too, that, childcare is becoming unaffordable. Even with vouchers and stuff, you only get a limited number of vouchers, depending on where you are and what's going on, et cetera, et cetera. So, I was reading an article the other day about a married couple, and they had been dual income. Mind you, the wife's job was not as big of an income, but she calculated out that for as much as she would end up paying on childcare, she would almost, it would almost equal out the amount of money that she was bringing into the house. So she made the decision, her and her husband made the decision that she would just stay home and raise the kids instead of trying to work. Because the job that she was at, she wasn't exactly looking at big promotions and big money anytime soon, so it financially wasn't worth it to them to actually, go dual income and put the kid in childcare. She raised the kids herself. And there was another, that was complaining that, something like 50% of her bring home was going towards childcare. It was that expensive. And the place over by them had just recently raised their prices, and they'd had difficulties since COVID and all that sort of thing. Just other stuff. So yeah, helping single mothers with their kids is going to be, once that phase of things starts, that's going to be a big help to a lot of people. And I don't know. I'm going to bring this up here anyway because it's a subject that's always on my mind. We need to be very, very careful about how we bring that help because of things that happen. I will not get into details because that's going to start both of us on a very long curse-filled rant that is guaranteed to get us kicked off of YouTube. And I don't know, Rumble might allow it, but whatever resources we can find for them, help them with, provide them with childcare being the biggest thing of all. Got to be very careful about, what we recommend and how we recommend it. Like literally going to if we have, hey, this person over here runs this daycare center or whatever and is willing to give, discounts or whatever the hell else. to the point of actually sending out one of our own members to thoroughly investigate, interview the people there, and see if they are worthy of our stamp of approval.
Oh,
'Cause,
definitely. That's one of the things that we've talked about extensively is we need to make sure that the places that we are sending these people are, first off, doing what they're supposed to be doing and doing it well. Making sure that they're taking care of the needs of these people.
Mhm.
Secondly, making sure that they're treating the people with the respect they deserve.
Yes.
So if somebody goes into a food bank to get help and the food bank is just really shitty, has a shitty attitude, they talk down to these people and make them feel like they're less than nothing, I want to find them a new food bank.
Yeah. Or like
Because
that one food bank that was exposed in Minnesota a few days back, was put up. I saw it on patriots.win. The food bank has a sign saying no white people allowed. The things here are only for brown and indigenous people, not for white people. If you're white, please leave, basically.
Yep. Which should
And
lose all federal funding.
actually, she got that because she was federal funded. She opened up, I don't know exactly how the article went into it, but I didn't bother reading because I'd just get too angry. But she had to prove that her clientele was greater than 50% quote unquote minority in order for her to get that particular grant or funding or whatever the hell else. So I guess unilaterally, she just decided to kick out all the white people just to, absolutely prove that her clientele is, minority based. And ridiculous as that is, I got another one for you just to speak about how ridiculous the government can be. FEMA on their website says that equity in disaster management is their number one goal. Equity, not equality, equity. And just to drive that point home, they actually said that they are very concerned about how church groups would provide disaster aid to migrant trans women.
Well, if they're true Christians, they're going to treat each person with respect no matter what.
Yes. But why are they worried about migrant trans women specifically? What about migrant trans men or migrant trans dolphins? There are people out there that think they are animals. I mean, what about all that? You're not concerned with that. You have to pick the trans women specifically. What's going on there? You're being awfully exclusatory.
Their push is to erase women.
Yeah. I mean, we know the reason, but
now I have a funny story about the trans men thing for you.
Go right ahead.
This will make you laugh. In Spain,
Probably.
They had the first full trans men soccer team play their first game of soccer against real men. Can you how bad do you think that went?
Pretty bad.
Y'all want to take a guess at what the score was at the end?
I don't know, 6-1, 6-0.
Anyone in the chat want to throw a guess up there? These are women who think they're men playing against men. Welcome back, Cora.
Hi there.
Hello, Cora.
Hello.
Did you hear the question, Cora?
No, but that's all right.
No,
Just go ahead and spoil it for us, Chris. What's the answer?
19-0.
Oh, damn.
Girls kick ass?
No.
No, the guys did. It was a bunch of trans men, as in women who believe that they are men, playing against real men in a soccer match in Spain.
Oh, what the fuck? They're not very smart, are they?
Well, I guess they just wanted to get scored on.
Oh, maybe.
One way to
Oh,
I gotta
I'm
be
just
safe.
saying
I
that
gotta
was
be-
terrible of me, but damn it, we need to be able to laugh at things.
they definitely got roughed up, and one of the guys said that they were lucky that that the girls got out of there without getting any injuries because the guys weren't taking it easy on them.
I'd
They
like
were
to see him
playing
do that
soccer.
with rugby. I would like to see him do that with rugby. Rugby gets rough.
hell.
You have to tape your ears back for that shit.
Rugby, they'd all end up going out on stretchers.
Probably.
Rough and ears. That could be a hell of a conversation.
Yeah,
Jamie said, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, 19
Listen,
and up.
if you truly have gender dysphoria, I feel bad for you. I hope you get the help that you need to get your brain in the right direction.
I want to be a man for one day. Just one. Hell, give me an hour. I want to be able to jump up and down, and swing it like an elephant trunk and get a piece of ass and see exactly what it feels like from the other side. That's all I want.
And she wants to write her name in the snow with peanut.
I can do that.
You know what?
Already.
You can do that. I was about to say, Mrs. Cal could do that.
I can do
And I
that.
made her prove it once.
Oh my!
Biggest mistake of my life. Biggest mistake of my life. Her penmanship was better than mine.
Me and an old buddy in our 20s, early 20s, we did that. Coming out of a bar. Forgot to pee.
Bar.
Yeah, forgot to pee. Little looped, I guess.
A little.
Well,
Come
yeah,
on, everybody.
maybe.
Everybody knows you're a party animal, Cora.
Oh, maybe at one time. I'm old and settled now. Life is good.
But
You may
Yeah,
be older,
I mean-
but you ain't old yet.
Well, sometimes depends on the body, I guess.
Oh, yeah. I'm starting to feel that, too. I keep getting reminded I'm not 19 anymore. The other day I
Right.
was hauling stuff around, more of my mother's junk, and, it was a very large gray tote, one of those big ones. It's full of winter coats, because my mother insisted on having many of them. I was hauling that around. I was trying to haul it out. I felt my back go. I'm like, oh, wait a second. I was able to lift these just a couple of years ago. What the hell? I'm not that out of shape. I didn't get that out. In fact, I've got in better shape than I was 2 years ago. What the hell?
I'd be happy to be 40 again.
I'd have to go back back before 36. But
I was good up until about 40. Yeah, that's when things started just slowly slide into ruin. I mean, I'm still in pretty decent shape. I'm losing weight, and but I'm not getting as much exercise as I used to, which is the one thing that gets me. So I try to. One of the things that I do try to do, and I won't do it on camera because YouTube, but I have some Freedom Seed dispensers around me, and I will do exercises with them for a number of reasons. One is to get my body used to actually handling them,
Right.
so that things become muscle memory, but also because it's weightlifting. One of them may be roughly 7-ish pounds, but that's still 7-ish pounds that you are constantly lifting, moving, swinging
you build
around.
endurance. You build up
Yes.
endurance doing that.
Yes.
People don't, a lot of young people don't realize that when you get into weightlifting, there's two different kinds of weightlifting. There's weightlifting for strength, but that strength is only good for as long as your muscles can keep that strength up. So you also have to work on the endurance with it.
Oh yeah. And believe me, I noticed the difference going from one of my handheld Freedom Seed dispensers, which is all steel and relatively heavy, and then switching to my all polymer one, which is the one that I carry most of the time. I noticed, and believe me, it is a big difference. I find myself able to maneuver the lighter Freedom Seed dispenser much more easily. Now that especially if I've just spent time with the all steel one, lifting and moving and manipulating it, going through the drills and all that sort of thing. And I switched to my other one. It's like, ooh, wow, it's like it weighs nothing.
Yeah.
But, I am trying to take care of my health at least to some degree. I keep saying, "Oh, I don't really have a reason to." Largely,
You
I
always
don't.
have a reason to.
Oh, well, my reason is myself. I want to.
Exactly.
My thing is my big motivation is that I want to see this through to the end. I don't know what the hell's going to happen. I mean, we all know that things are going to come to a head in roughly 4 weeks.
God
and-
wins in the end.
Yeah, well, we know that, but I want to see the stuff that happens in the middle.
He wants to see the big booms.
Yeah, I want to see how it's all going to, collide, how it's all going to crash together. And like I said, in about 4 weeks, we're gonna see something. We're gonna see something. We don't know what we're gonna see, but we're gonna see something. We've got predictions of what we might be seeing.
It's going to be a shit show either way, so it don't matter.
Yeah.
God wins in the end.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a shit show. I just want to see, especially then, what's going to happen then. How bad of a shit show is it going to be? Is it going to be, a complete blowout? Are we going to win? Are they going to cheat? How badly are they going to cheat? What are they going to do? I want to see it all.
I got an update on that. So, my state was caught trying to do some sketchy shit.
No, Pennsylvania? Come on.
The Secretary of State they changed it now because they got called out on it. But all of a sudden, when they announced the day that Trump is going back to Butler County,
He was there last night.
Well, they decided that they were going to try and do maintenance on the voter registration website in order to keep people from registering to vote while at the rally.
Yep.
And Scott Pressler called it out, and the National Convention went after him.
Yep.
And they changed it. Hey, Jay. Well, how you doing, buddy?
Morning, Jay.
Uh-oh. Jay?
You want a link, Jay?
Come on, buddy.
You want a link, Jay? I got a good story for you. I got it to end the show. I have an interesting and sad story for you.
Come on. Get on camera. Nobody cares how you look. I don't care if you just rolled out of bed.
I find it hard to believe he's that bashful.
I was going to say, let's see about surrounding Cora with questionably handsome men. I know
well,
at least one of us is
handsome. I'm the questionable one.
Making old ladies morning.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, no, we don't need that.
What did he say?
He's on the throne. Give him a few.
Well, you know what? We have been doing a lot of shit talking.
He could be like the priest from Scary Movie.
He could be the king this morning. Playing king this morning.
I need to see how he liked that movie I suggested last night.
What movie did you suggest?
I, Frankenstein.
Oh.
It was one that kind of shocked me. I kind of thought it would be campy and not really good. But it ended up being a lot better than I thought it would be. But I'm going to go ahead and start into my story here because we're running kind of late on time.
Yeah.
So, Dad gets home from work at like 11:45 because it was really, really foggy here last night. I put out a short showing how foggy it was.
Mm-hmm.
And Jay said the movie was okay. And then him and Mom went out back and asked me if I wanted to come out and sit out back with them, and I was in the middle of eating, so I said, well, let me finish eating and then I'll come out with you. So I come out, and Mom's like, we have a new animal here. I'm like, oh yeah? She said, yeah, it's a raccoon. She said it walked right past here, and she said something about it was coughing, and
Get the pew pew.
it was growling.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the next thing I know, it attacked something. I mean, it was going nuts, shaking it around. It had gotten the possum, that little possum that has the back legs messed up.
Did you
He's
do
been
them
doing.
both in?
No, Mom told me not to do the possum.
You need to.
I thought so too, but I wasn't fighting with her at that point.
Well, you need to take care of that before it gets sick.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see any puncture wounds,
Don't matter, scratches, whatever.
but yeah. So I mean, multiple times it attacked. It went after us. Multiple times came, tried to sneak up on us and all that shit. So I went in, I got the pew pew, and I come out, and I'm expecting I'm gonna have to go look for it again because we had chased it off. Nope. Not even 5 feet from my back door, it comes up in between. You remember where I used to feed the cats under the like little ledge that comes off of the red,
Yeah.
the red grill?
Go ahead, squirrel. Go ahead.
Well, no, I had to think of the right word. My brain wasn't working. And so that it was coming right up there onto the porch. And so I checked behind it. There was nothing behind it, and I took my shot. And I know I got it, but it still had time to run off. So I got to go look for it here this morning and find it, so I can call and have them take and go test it. But Mom's like, will they even test it? I'm like, she's like, well, will they test it if it's dead? I'm like, yes, you can still test it. You can test a dead animal for rabies.
That's the only way they can test it. They gotta look at its
Yeah,
brain.
Yeah. So I did not shoot it in the head. I got a body shot. I went for mass because I wanted to make sure I hit it because it was a little dark,
Need to find that possum too.
Uh-oh. Here he comes. Yeah. Yeah, boy.
I tried to pinch it off as fast as I could,
Morning.
Are you 10 pounds lighter now?
I wish.
Hope everything come out okay for you, Jay.
Usually it is in the morning.
All right. Good morning, bud.
Good morning, buddy. Good to see you.
I don't have a whole lot of battery, so I don't know how long it's going to last. My hair's all.
That's all right. We're kind of wrapping up anyway.
Don't
But
you just want to pinch his cheeks? Don't you just want to pinch his cheeks?
You can go ahead and do that all you want, Cora. I'm sure you'd get a thrill out of it.
I think if one of us tried to pinch his cheeks, he'd punch us in the balls or worse.
Yeah, I am kind of a wild animal. It's like Charlie. If I blow in his face, he tries to bite me. Like, he gets, like, real pissed off.
Yeah, most dogs do.
Oh.
Cats aren't big fans of it either.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did. Pretty sure it's dead. It landed. I think it went over in the bushes next in the neighbors to die. So I got to go talk to the neighbor and go find it.
Yeah.
That's what the last person thought. That's why it's limping.
What's that?
Right?
So that's what the last person thought. That's why you found it limping.
No, it wasn't limping. The raccoon was fine, except for it was acting crazy.
Mm.
Maybe it was a Harris voter in disguise.
Perhaps.
Well, it definitely acted like it had Trump derangement syndrome.
It'll vote Democrat now for sure.
But yeah, no, I couldn't have it terrorizing the animals out back.
Can't have that thing around the cats.
Well, and then it literally chased my dad in the house. So.
Yeah, those things are pretty ferocious when they get wound up.
It was
Yeah.
fucking huge. This thing had to at least weigh 45 pounds.
Holy shit! That is a big boy.
Been out in the
That would
field.
have called for one of the long ones.
Well, it was too close to quarters for a long gun.
Somebody's already shooting. I can hear them
Well,
about a mile away.
I'm surprised I haven't heard somebody here. I haven't had somebody call me about last night. But and Mom just goes, "That was loud."
Shit.
Like it's supposed to be loud.
Yep.
When
If
you
you don't want it
dispense
to be
freedom,
loud,
it
you
is
gotta.
often loud.
If you don't want it to be loud, you got to pay the extortion fees.
Yes. Yes.
That's almost over, I think. I think
Well,
the
yeah.
Supreme Court's going to end that.
It's not like there's a whole lot of things that happen with those, but they would really help people, save their hearing and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
I-
Especially in
neighbors.
exactly the situation that happened to Chris. That is a perfect reason to have a
Suppressor.
muffler on your freedom seed dispenser. You're firing at close quarters with other people around. It is a defensive situation. You're trying to put down an animal, a potentially rabid animal.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's at night or not. It's an emergency situation, but it means you don't have time necessarily to get to your ear pro, anything else. You just grab it and you got to do the job. Now,
You screwed it on, thinking do.
I was just talking about a Bond movie earlier. I was suggesting that people watch Tomorrow Never Dies and realize that what the main villain was doing is what all the media is doing these days. Which, by the way, again, I still recommend. And it is honestly one of my favorite movies of all time, but it's also my favorite Bond film. Not because I'm a particular fan of any particular actor that has ever played James Bond, Timothy Dalton,
Sean Connery.
But the message put out by Tomorrow Never Dies is it holds so true today. You just got to imagine that there's not just one Carver, there's lots of them.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
But yeah.
Is that the one with Pierce Morgan? Or has he got that new guy?
It's Brosnan. It's from 1997.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan.
It was-
the thing, yeah.
It was
Pierce
also the
Morgan's
movie where he
the guy.
changed over from the Walther PPK to the Walther P99.
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up in the Pierce Brosnan era, so
Yeah. Yeah.
He
Well,
was always
it's
the
literally
Bond
one of
idea.
my favorite. Well, it's literally one of my favorite movies because I can show this to people and say, okay, now imagine we're not in a world of just one Carver, but all the media is Carver. They're all trying to do exactly what he's trying to do. They may not be trying to start a war, but by God, with yellow journalism, they will egg one on. It's all about media manipulation.
I don't know. Our government, our media is doing a pretty good job of pushing for a war in the Middle East right now.
Oh, they're trying to push a war here right at home. They're trying to get us to start shooting each other. They would just eat that shit up.
I
No,
think
they
it's
would.
going to start in Appalachia.
It may just. I mean, I was before this, at the very beginning, I was going on about what's been happening over there, about how FEMA is interfering with rescue operations. I mean,
Yep.
Elon Musk literally has the receipts. One of his pilots was waved off of his helicopter pad, trying to bring in supplies. No explanation. It was just a dude on the ground saying, get away, go away, don't try to land. And he tried to contact Pete Buttigieg about this and over Twitter, and Pete was like, yeah, I'll give you a phone number, we can call and talk about this. And Musk called his bluff and said, all right, what's the number? Send me a DM, I'm following you, send me a DM, what's the number? 20 minutes later, it's like, still waiting on that number, Pete. You can send me that number,
There's
Pete?
also
There's still
an
waiting for that
incident
number.
where some locals, some private firms and stuff, they actually helped a fire department in one of the cities get their internet back up and things. And then Joe was on there taking credit for it.
Yep.
And
It was,
the fire chief is pissed.
Yeah. Chris Hall
I've-
was up amongst that. I don't know if anybody here watches Chris Hall, y'all, but oh boy, do I recommend him. Not only is he a great storm tracker, he's a great individual.
Yeah.
Ryan Hall.
Ryan Hall. Yeah.
Ryan Hall, yeah.
Hmm.
Thank you.
I watch him about every day or whenever he puts out a video. I've seen
Yeah.
people with horses.
Yep.
The
Mule
people
They're
who
getting
live
horses
there
and
with
mules
horses and mules, taking
goats.
boxes and supplies and goats. Yep, using them. Anything that'll carry an animal that will carry supplies, they're using them to take them up to the mountains.
Yep, and they're starting to dig out the roads themselves whenever they can lay their hands on heavy equipment. They're digging out the tore up road beds, and they're
Have
already
fun,
starting.
Fred.
Oh,
Fred-
he's heading out
Fred-
to a banana pudding festival.
It's fun.
Yummy.
Try not to get too much of it on you, Fred.
A1C, A1C.
Well, no, I was more thinking if you got a whole bunch of it splattered on it, people might start talking.
Now, what he does with his banana pudding is between him and that pudding. You know what I'm saying?
Are we gonna
I'll
have an
make sure.
American pie? Are we gonna have an
I'll make-
American pie incident?
One time at band camp,
Makes me wish I'd gone to band camp. Everybody always has awesome band camp stories. Hell, even when I was growing up.
I do have some awesome band camp stories.
Uh,
Some I can share and
uh,
some I cannot
it-
share.
Just about everyone that I heard from my friends growing up, I cannot share. Like, there's like one
Do I
that I
need to-
could share.
do I need to stock up on banana pudding? Asking for a friend.
Uh,
Oh my.
no, but it actually involved. Interesting enough, it involved chocolate pudding. They had gotten chocolate, just a ton of chocolate pudding. It was some kind of a shipping mistake, and they just got way too much chocolate pudding in at the camp location. So they were serving it with literally every meal, and they were serving it in these, single serving cups. Well, some of the kids decided to preserve those cups. Well, it was during the summer; it was warm. That stuff turned rancid quick. They may say it's shelf stable, but when your temperatures are in the mid 90s or whatever, yeah, that
see
shit
what
turns
you did.
rancid. And oh boy, did that stuff turn rancid. And then they decided, just as a prank, they were going to uncap some of these rancid cups and stick them somewhere.
Whose
Well, in
car
the
did they put
process-
'em on? Whose seat did they put them under?
Well, unfortunately, they didn't get that far. They had a bit of an accident with the rancid cups. And I don't remember exactly what happened, but somebody fell over and basically landed on half of these cups, and they squirted all over their sleeping quarters.
Oh no.
Yeah. The smell of rancid chocolate pudding. And of course, there was a joke about it being chocolate pudding. And he was a guy, and the other guy helping him was a guy. And yeah, that part of the story, I can't tell jokes that came after it. None of
They were
them would be
surfing-
appropriate anywhere.
They were surfing the the Hershey Highway.
Something along that, but a lot worse. A lot worse. A lot worse. It was hilarious. No.
I have one story I can share with you. It was my sophomore year, and it was hot as hell.
Mm.
And so we were taking a break, and these two kids were arguing, and one takes out his drink and throws it on the other kid. Well, then the other kid throws his drink on the other guy, and both of them are drinking fucking Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Kool-Aid is not good for fabrics. Kool-Aid stains really easily. And so now these kids are pissed off at each other because now they're running around. Their shirts are multicolored. Got their Kool-Aid all over each other. And they're like, "You're paying for my shirt. You're paying for my..." And I'm like, "You guys are fucking idiots." If you're gonna throw something, go get the fucking water and throw it. They have a big tub of ice water down there.
Oh, yeah. Have a nice wet t-shirt contest.
Well, these guys probably did have tits. They were kind of big.
Man boobs. Boobs.
Just saying.
Boobs.
Just saying.
Good morning, Charlie. We could be like We could be Charlie's Angels.
Mm.
Get it?
I'm looking at a mess that my cat made.
Uh-oh.
He knocked my
What did he do?
ashtray off my table sometime
Ooh.
last night onto my rug.
Ooh,
Vacuum time.
Gotta get out the vacuum, yeah.
Oh, it's gonna take more than a vacuum,
Mm.
probably. I got a carpet cleaner, so yeah.
There you
So that's
go.
the first thing I want to see when I wake up in the morning.
Mm.
I see.
Hairballs.
Oh, that's worse. That's a lot worse.
Yeah, I don't mind hairballs. I can pick those up.
Yeah.
This is gonna like leave a black spooge mark on the carpet, so. it's
The
gonna
reason
need
I keep
some
looking to the side is
TLC.
because I have a little dog looking at me. He knows what time it is, or at least what time it's getting to be, and he's like,
I gotta pee,
Please.
Dad. I gotta pee, Dad.
I gotta go.
So,
Mhm.
yeah. All right, y'all. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate it. Corey's over there
Yeah.
bouncing for you.
Just got to keep moving. Got to keep stretching
Mhm.
something.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
All
All
right,
right, y'all.
everybody, take care.
We'll try
Have a
to-
great day, and we'll see you
Toodles.
this afternoon.
Yep.
Alrighty, see
Peace,
ya.
y'all.
Bye.
Later.